or I'm sorry, and the Ultralisks plus Zerglings, this could be really devastating to Hera's army.
Wow, yeah, I think Lucky is almost ready to push, and now you can see his massive group of Ultralisks right there in the center of the map, and lots of little pockets of Zerglings. I feel like what Lucky is doing right now, if we were looking at his first-person mode, would see him gathering units up to easily hotkey them to control groups, and make sure he's ready to go 1A, 2A, 3A, and so on, right down his keyboard, and then just get ready to steamroll the protoss over. What Hera is doing, on the other hand, is getting his Reavers probably hotkeyed up quickly and putting them into shuttles just so that he can maximize the splash damage effectiveness when Lucky decides to do this. Lucky moving in now. Lucky heading right across the terrain with plenty of Ultralisks. Now he's doing the 1A, 2A, 3A thing with all of his units in support. So just sending them in not too many units all at once. There's a swarm right over all of the Archons and the Reavers right at the back. Hera doing a great job keeping his Reavers alive and dropping them out of shuttles, but the Zerg are rolling over the Protoss right now. He's going to be able to head up to that 12 o'clock. I like it how there's the gateway blocking, but this is just too many Zerg forces for the Protoss to deal with. Unless, very nicely dropping the Reavers off next to the photon cannons and getting heaps of kills. It's going to be very, very difficult for the Zerg to assault that position with the Reavers on such a good vantage point behind those cannons, and picking them up with the shuttles. Doesn't want to move past that Scourge just too closely. Don't know what he's doing there, dancing that shuttle run at the 12 o'clock, well, more like the 1 o'clock. Realizes he can't push in there. There's plenty of Sunkens over at the main, though. And there's a plague as well as a swarm right over that little entrance to the 12 o'clock, busting the gateway now. Zerg streaming and getting rid of plenty of cannons. Those Reavers looking very vulnerable. Hera picking them back up into the shuttles, and looks like both players fighting desperately for this 12 o'clock, and it is going to make a difference depending on who can take it out or defend it.
If Lucky manages to take this out, which I think he's going to be able to, depending on those Reavers in the upper left-hand corner, that just looks like they're just working into that that Ultralisk right now. They were able to take that Ultralisk. I still think that Nexus is going to go down, simply because I don't see any detection in this area to take care of those lurkers. Nexus is going to go down just momentarily. But if you can check as you can see, the secondary completely out of minerals, the main completely out of minerals, the mineral only looking quite a bit thin. The upper left-hand base is going to be the only one that's really producing for him. Losing this 12 o'clock is going to be huge. In the meantime, the 6 o'clock location still producing for Lucky at full swing. Bottom right hand corner looking somewhat thin, but still producing. Mineral only still producing. Main still producing. The secondary is the only one that's really close to mining out. Lucky will just end up winning this on an economy win overall, and it looks like picking off some observers out in the middle of the map. Looks like a couple plague Zerglings actually up in the field. It looks like he's pushing up for a counterattack. Wow, a lot of Archons waiting though. Level 3 weapons. It's going to have the upgrade advantage at least in that regard. Level 3 weapons versus level 2 Carapace, running with Zerglings and Ultralisks in combination, and a lot of observers up, so I don't think those picking up those observers will be very viable either. There will be a plague, but keep in mind Archons don't have a lot of base health. They've got 10 base health, so plague not all that helpful. The Defiler, the swarm will help a little bit. It's going to force the Archons only to use their splash damage. Looks like there is a Defiler in position well, so that'll definitely help. But still, there's nothing to attack those Reavers, and those Reavers with their splash will really be the key to this fight. They can do just a lot of damage, and also Psystorm into those, because nothing, spells are not blocked inside the swarm. Psystorm going off across those Ultralisks. Reavers being dropped. I think this will be enough to protect that mineral only between the Archons and the Reavers and their splash, but I still think Lucky's going to be able to reproduce, and it looks like he's got a counterattack force of Zerglings near that 12 o'clock location. Well, I'm sorry, what is that? The 11 o'clock. It's kind of hard to tell on Blue Storm because it's so oblong. So yeah, I think those Ultralisks are going to be taken out by those Archons in the middle of the map, but I think those Zerglings are going to be able to stream into that upper left-hand corner. But it looks like the Reaver's actually going to be there in position to defend right in the nick of time.
Yeah, that was nice. Bringing in that Defiler as well, but man, absolute Zergling carnage there. Just didn't stand a chance against that Reaver. Nearly killed one because one is very low on shields and health. With these large number of Archons in the middle, well, actually it's been depleted to about 5 Archons now. I was actually asking myself whether maybe he had used hallucination on a couple of Archons with those Templars, but absolutely not the case at all. Those were real Archons, all of them. He'd used the Templars for storms as he should have. Massive group of units up the top, well, massive group of units and Scourges on the minimap. It looked like it more than it really was, but heading around to the top left, he's really starting to threaten that top left now. He's actually taken the 12 o'clock himself, mining that really heavily. He's depleted his main gas and his natural gas, but he's got the gas running down the bottom right, nearly depleted, and the 6 o'clock has got plenty of gas left, so he's going to be able to continue building Ultras for a long time. If you look at Lucky's resources, he's got 6,000 minerals, only 300 gas in the bank. So he can produce Zerglings off his 50 billion hatcheries that he's got. Well, not 50 billion. It's more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8 or 9 there. Just did a quick count. But we've got Archons heading through to the 11 o'clock here underneath the swarm. It's not really going to make too much difference against the Zealots, but looks like we've got a few Archons getting trapped here by Zerglings from both sides. Nice flank here. Reavers getting caught out in the open. There's no shuttle. Where are the shuttles to pick up these Reavers? He's going to be able to attack them pretty easily, although he's not doing that just yet. Killing another Ultralisks. Looks like Hera's picking them up now. We've got 2 Ultralisks out in the midfield and picking up the rest of them with shuttles. There's a Scourge. Might take out that shuttle if he's not. Takes out a shuttle, but luckily he offloaded the Reavers first. These Reavers absolutely cleaning up, but the problem is that this top left, is completely out of minerals. So Hera's looking really early out of luck here because he's got no bases, no minerals left at all. He's got 4,000 in the bank, but Lucky's got 6,000 in the bank. So I think this is Lucky's game to win, to lose at this point. Oh, Reaver drop.
Catching it here. Looks like doesn't look like it's just gonna explode without any hurrah there. And then now, yeah, it's just up to Lucky essentially to hold on and not to make any major mistakes. Hera is completely mined out at this stage of the game. He does have a lot in the bank, mostly minerals, but he's not able to produce the higher tech units that he wants to. He's going to have to rely mostly on Zealots, which are very mineral heavy. And he's probably going to rely mostly on Templar at this stage because he needs that Psystorm. He needs units that pack a punch. He already has a lot of Reavers out in the field. He needs to protect that shuttle, and there's not really anything to deal with that shuttle at this stage. Usually you want a Scourge out. Now it looks like there is enough gas to produce Scourge at this stage, but really haven't seen it out there, and this shuttle's been in the game for quite a long time. That Reaver being has played a huge X factor. Looks like a lot of Zerglings to the north now, and they're going to drop off and get a couple more free hits. So Hera's just going to rely mostly on looks like Shuttle Reaver Micro, and it's got speed upgrade on that shuttle as well, to just try to win the game for him just by whittling this down. But it looks like it just got a lot more difficult because we got those Scourge up in the base, and it looks like still going to harass this upper left-hand base, even though there's no. I don't think he realizes. I guess he's going to go after that gas. I was more concerned about that gas rather than that minerals. 2 Ultralisks in position there, but it looks like they're going to get taken out. I don't see any counterattack happening from Hera. Looks like he's just going to try to evacuate what he can. He is bringing that additional shuttle up, but it's empty at this stage, so that Nexus is going to go down. It's not going to be able to produce gas even now in the middle, and we see Lucky. He's just got all sorts of forces kind of out in position and taking out that upper left-hand base in the meantime. So it looks like Lucky is starting to walk away with this game.
Funnily enough, though, it almost looks like the even supply. And if you look at Hera's mineral-only expansion at the 9 o'clock position, he's got tons of Reavers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Reavers, not in shuttles now. He's just going to do the show. He's going to do the slow protoss push with mass storms. Storms going off now. Zealots providing a short wall in front to prevent the Reavers from taking too much damage. Plague over all of the Reavers. That's nasty. Bringing in the shuttle now with another 2 Reavers. How many Reavers does this guy have? He's almost completely out of minerals. There's an ensnare, Queen Ensnare over the Reavers, another one, and all of Lucky's forces are dying here. But the Reavers are taking a heavy hit as well. We're now down to 4 Reavers. This is going to be 3 very shortly. He's picking off. Oh my God! He's destroyed all of the Zerg forces with 4 Reavers left, and plenty of Zealots. Well, this game is turning to be crazy.
There's still plenty of Zealots out in the middle, and I think this is going to be the last hurrah, though. 418 minerals left. Only 418 minerals left here for Hera, so he's got to do it with what he's got on the ground versus the 5,000 on the opposite end for Lucky. So I suppose it's possible, but not looking very good. Both players completely upgraded. No shield upgrades, though, for our Protoss friend Hera. Looks like a big engagement happening in the middle. All Defilers looks like they're pretty... Oh, Plague over a lot of those ults. That's really going to hurt. But still, those Reavers in the background able to just unload damage. But the question is how long will they last? Keep in mind, building Reaver Scarabs costs minerals, so each shot counts. And if I was lucky and I was keeping mind of that at this stage, I would just send piecemeal forces out and try to force those Reavers to just continue with shots. And it looks like he is just going to continue just harassing that. And it looks like we're down to 3 Zealots, a Reaver, and a Templar, and it looks like an Archon as well. I think that's going to be it for Hera's task force.
Yeah, guys, I think we've seen the game. Very, very well played by Lucky. He really used a kind of strangle his opponent to death kind of strategy. I think Hera played it really nice at the end. If he'd just made a few little bit of better decisions earlier in the game, he might have ended up making this game even closer. But there it is. Protoss is left, and Lucky is the winner. So thanks, Diggity, for inviting me to do this commentary once again. Hope you guys in the audience enjoyed it. I certainly did. But that was looking to be quite a close game in the end. Well, at certain points, not towards the end, but I think that Lucky did quite well to come back because it did look like he was losing at one point.
Yeah, for a while I thought Lucky was just going to get run over at the stage, but managed to stay in it, managed to get the Ultralisks out, and then from there just seemed to control the game. Really taking that 12 o'clock position was key. That huge fight in the middle of the map where it just seemed like he was down on supply, and then all of a sudden he was ahead about 8 to 10 supply. It was just, that was a big fight, I think. And yeah, I think that's all my thoughts on the game. Special thanks once again to GosuGamers.net for getting me this replay. I always enjoy doing this. And special thanks to everybody who listened and watched. Hope you guys enjoyed it.